Good morning and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Andy and I normally do videos on bricklaying, etc. Building construction, but I do a few vlogs, travel vlogs and that if I'm travelling about. I decided to do this video because I was looking at some of the Facebook groups. You know, I used to live in Cheshunt, Waltham Cross, etc. And there's always people who used to live there asking about this pub and that pub, and half the time people are just saying they've closed. So I've done a bit of research to see how many pubs have actually closed in the area over, you know, in modern history, let's put it that way. I was quite shocked, to be honest. So here we are on the Hart and Essex border. Waltham Abbey is half a mile that way, and Cheshunt is 1¼ miles that way. I'm going to do two separate videos, one for Waltham Cross and one for Cheshunt. I was going to do Waltham Cross and Cheshunt, but there's too much content and I don't like doing videos more than half hour long. People lose interest, don't matter how good they are. So let's just take a little walk up here. I came here yesterday to do a recce, to just sort my route out and that, and I popped into the Abbey to have a pint in a pub I frequent into occasionally, and it had shut down. How ironic is that, eh? But that's the way it's going now, isn't it? Right, down there is Waltham Abbey, down there is Holbrook and Waltham Cross. I was brought up in this area. I was born in Edmonton, but moved here when I was young. Edmonton, North London. It wasn't North London then, it was Middlesex. So maybe I'm not a Londoner, I'm a Middlesexer. But someone to clear that one up for me. Right, the first pub I ever went in is this one here, which is no more. The Old English Gentleman. The landlord at one point was quite an eccentric. He had a big long beard, and at closing time, last orders, rather than ring a bell, he'd blow this great big horn. But yeah, it was the first pub I had a pint in. I think it was about 15. Me and three mates, four little skinheads, go in there, and my mate had already asked his eldest brother what we should have, what we should order. And I always remember what it was. It was a pint of light and lime. Yeah, fond memories. Just a quick note on Waltham Abbey. That's got its problems with pubs. At one point it was in the Guinness Book of Records as having the most pubs per square mile. Not anymore. It's a bit of a ghost town now, really. Yeah, right, let's move on to the next one, because got a lot of footwork to do. See you there. Right, we've just walked down from the River Lee there towards Holbrook. Now, when this was Waltham Newtown, Melbourne Road was here, and now there's just these flats. I actually thought these flats was named called Melbourne Pub, but they don't seem to be. Anyway, there was a pub here called the Melbourne. Let's take a walk up here. And I don't remember it as a pub, but it was an off licence when I was a kid. And if you watch my bricklaying channel, you would have met Russell, my mate Russell, I do a bit of work with, and he was brought up in there. I didn't realise it at the time, but he's explained to me since when I've asked him about it. You know, it looked like a pub. You had the two sets of double doors into two little bars, and it had a cellar. And right over there is the gunpowder factory. And that was always letting explosives off there when I was a kid. You know, that's what they did. And every time they let one off, the doors of the off licence or the pub just burst open every time because of the pressure, I suppose. Yeah, the Melbourne Pub. Old Jim, Russell's dad, is still alive, and he lives in the next street there, opposite the house I was brought up in. He's elderly now, but yeah, right. Let's go into the old Waltham Newtown. Right, here we are, the small River Lee with its obligatory Tesco trolley in the river. Fucking amazing, isn't it? This used to be the border between Hart and Essex. Essex was there and Hart was there. I don't know why they moved it, but when I was a kid that's what it was. Right, let's just walk down here. That's the road I was brought up on, Queen's Drive. Lived here till I was about 16, I think. and Jim, Russell's dad, who had the off licence, lives just up there. And when they compulsory purchased the Eleanor, his off licence, he moved there, which is now a smoke and barbecue place, and his off licence was there. Well, I'm just going to say a few things about Holbrook just while we're here. I'll make it quick. Before all this was built, this was built in the, that's Holbrook South, that was built later, and this is Holbrook North. It was built in the 60s. When all these houses were compulsory purchase, there was old Victorian terraced houses and that they needed pulling down. But it was a town on its own. It had everything here. Everything you can think of, greengrocers, bakers, hairdressers. There was a department store just there, Parker's. It was completely self-sufficient. It was quite colourful. As at the bottom of my road there was the largest travellers' camper in the south of England. So yeah, loads of things went on. It's called the Willows. The reason it was called the Willows was because it was alongside the small River Lee there, along by the willow trees. I've heard a story that Dunlop located there down the bottom where we first started. The Dunlop factory was there where they made tennis rackets and cricket bats, and they located there because of the willows, and they made the cricket bats out of them. But I'll be honest, I don't believe that, but it's a good story anyway, isn't it? Right, I'll get my bearings here. First pub would have been over there, the King Harold, and that was my dad's local, and I sat out there many a time with a glass of lemonade and a packet of salted crisps. I think it was only an ale pub, I don't think it sold spirits. Yeah, and then if we go along here a bit, let's turn it off. Right, Crescent Road started there, and obviously Crescent went right the way around and came out over there somewhere, it doesn't know more. And on that corner there was the Moulders Arms. It's quite a big pub as I remember. Never went in it because I was too young. But also there, they built a tower block. And then they pulled it down after many years. I don't know why they pulled it down. I don't think there's any structural defects in that. Gave a lot of people, you know, council houses and that, a good start. You know, you started there, then you got moved on. I had a paper round here, the Evening Standard, and I used to, on a Saturday we had so many papers because people done it for football results, didn't they? And I used to commandeer the lift, leave a couple of sacks of newspapers in the lift so no one else could use it. It didn't make me the most popular kid in town, but it got the job done anyway. Right. There's another one up here, which is gone. Here we are at Britannia Road. And over there, that block of flats, which believe it or not is called Britannia Court, was the Britannia Pub. What came first, Britannia Road or the pub, I don't know. It was a funny pub because it had its moments, but it's sort of in the middle of nowhere. It was on the edge of the new town and not quite in Waltham Cross, but it was one of them pubs. It was only as good as the landlord. If you had a decent landlord in there, it weren't a bad pub. I used it quite a bit. Bottom of the Britannia Road there used to be Jones's scrapyard. It was the first scrapyard that had a car crusher in it and fragmentizer. And we used to love playing over there as kids. And people used to go over there, used to get spare parts for your cars and that. You used to go over there with your dad. We used to go over there without our dads as well. Not allowed, but we did. And there was a couple of films made there. TV things, a few things filmed. It was a James Bond, part of a James Bond film filmed there, I can't think which one. But yeah. Right, let's head on into the depths of Waltham Cross. Before we go there, I've had to write it down. I've just had to sit down and try and remind myself of all the roads what are in the new town. Because it's all on there. Elm Court, Albert Court, Melbourne Court, they're the names of the roads. Well, most of them. I don't remember an Adelaide Street road. Maybe there was. But, there was Albert Road, Alexander Road, Queen's Drive where I was brought up, Sydney Road, Melbourne Road, Harold Road and the Crescent. There might be more, but yeah, they did name the flats this side of it after them anyway. Right, we're at the north end of Waltham Cross. That way is Enfield, and there's no more pubs that way. The next pub that way, boys, and there no more, it would be the Gun and Magpie. But that's in Enfield and that's long gone. Right, well, I think I'm at the right place. Mezzy Medi Lounge. Well, this was never it's obviously a Turkish restaurant, I suppose. Get my notes out. It was never a proper pub, but it started off years ago. A mate of mine opened it up as a wine bar called Sour Grapes. Then it became Blues. Then it became the Happy Pig. I think that's what it's most notorious for. Bar Ab, and then the Venue. Then it closed, so I don't come up here much now. Now it's turned into this. But yeah, we'll start there because it was a pub when it was the Happy Pig. But it's gone anyway. Let's have a little walk up here. Got my notes out for this. There's another pub I found on my research. It was called the Beer Inn. Don't know about it. I don't know when it was here, when it closed or anything. There was also, but this is a long time in history, it closed in 1857. What was it called? It was called the Coach House. It was a coach house. It was called the New Inn, and it was sold in 1857. But it had stabling for 48 horses, so it never turned into another pub or anything. It was pulled down and probably developed, I don't know, a long time ago. There's one that went, but you can see what this town's about now, can't you? Let's be honest. There's every shop you don't really want in it, really, but it's modern life, isn't it? Right, let's head into town. Where are we? There's Witherspoons here somewhere, isn't there? Oh yeah, up here. Okay. Not pubs. There used to be a cinema there. Fuck knows what's being built there. And there used to be one there as well. No, there it was. The old flea pit. That's long gone. Here's a pub what is successful. The Witherspoons. Mind you, it's the only pub really in town now. Yeah. Alright, let's walk up here. There used to be a Woolworths there. Now why hasn't that been taken over? Oh, it was a Poundland, look, and they've closed. Poundland's closed. That tells you something, doesn't it, man? A bit of brickwork up there though, is it? Herringbone panels. Right. This is the centre of Waltham Cross, and what we've got there in front of you is the Queen Eleanor Cross. I can tell you a bit about that without looking at any notes. It was put up, there's 12 of them I think put up when Queen Eleanor died in 1290, and her body was brought back to London, I think Westminster, and everywhere she stopped, the king, her husband, which I think was James, erected one of these. There's only 3 left in the country now, but this is why it used to be called Waltham and now it's called Waltham Cross. There you go. Right, but here, over here, was the Falcon Pub. Falcon Hotel was a coach house. I used to drink in here when I was 16, 17. It was a great pub. It was a hotel. Plenty of good things went on there, and I knew the governor very well. He was the stepson of another pub up the road there, the Castle. We used to just stay in the hotel, just doss down in one of the rooms and that. It was great fun. The actual pub actually was about here. Let's check my notes again. Yeah, it was rebuilt in 1889 because the access was too small, so they actually pulled it down and moved it back where that building is there. That's not the original building. That's something that's been built since. It was actually demolished in 74, I think. But yeah, big pub gone. Right, let's walk through the centre. Right, I had to do a detour. I forgot, I nearly missed 2 pubs out. KFC. Well, it never used to be KFC. It was the Britannia Pub. Let me tell you, it was a good pub in its day. It was very lively, full of characters. Don't really know why it closed. I think it was busy till the end. Right, I've missed one up here, and I'm not going to walk up there because I mean, it's this car park. I'm going to run out of time. Right, that's Waltham Cross station here. The other side is where we were earlier, Holbrook and across Waltham New Town. And to the left there was a set of steps, went right the way down, and there was a pub there. It was called the Queen Eleanor. It was known as the Steps, really. That's how it was called. Now, I don't know, when I was 13, 14, I had a newspaper stand selling the Evening Standard outside Waltham Cross station. So to come home from school and then get changed and go down there to catch the rush hour, sell the papers. And the old boy ticket collector there, once the rush hour was over, I think it lasted a couple of hours in them days, if that, maybe, I don't know. Everyone coming, you know, from the city, getting off from Liverpool Street. He'd give me a bit of money, and I'd have to go over the road, down the steps, into the steps. I can't remember what he used to get him. I think it was a couple of bottles of light ale or something he wanted. And he'd give me enough money to get myself half a cider. I always blamed him for my problems with pubs. But, yeah, nice old boy. Couldn't do it now, could you? But, yeah, great memories, great memories. Right, let's head back this way. Give that a mention. The Conservative Club, the Imperial Hall. Been there a few years. I'll give it a mention because a lot of big bands have played there in the 60s. I think the Who played there. Many big bands played there when they were starting off. Right, if we go up here, back to the Queen Eleanor Monument. Let's get up there first. Ladbrokes. Well, it wasn't always Ladbrokes. There used to be a pub there. I never went in it. I remember it. I was a bit young then. It's called the Four Swans. Popular pub, I believe. And see this gantry here. Normally, there's 4 swans on it, but they're not there. I think they're down for repair. They're being repaired somewhere. You'd think they'd have a dummy set, wouldn't you? Put up there. But right. Next. This is an interesting one. I'll just walk up here, I'll catch you there. Okay, right, opposite the main entrance to the shopping centre, here was the Castle Pub. It was probably the most popular pub in Waltham Cross. I think I've cut my teeth in here, really. I remember getting very ill one Christmas Eve, very young, during the day, with some older lads. Across the road there was another pub, the Fox, I think it was called, yeah, the Fox Inn. I do remember that as well, but that would have been in the 60s. I remember it as a kid. Got a lot of stories to say about the castle, really. We ain't got time for that. The landlord's name was Wally Chamberlain, but he had a nickname, Wally Wingnuts, due to his protruding ears, but you never said that to his face. Not if you wanted a drink anyway. But he was good fella, nice bloke. When I was young, before I started bricklaying, I worked on greenhouses, and we always worked away. And we'd finish the job, and I'd come back and went in the pub. It was lunchtime. I was skint, I had money, we'd been working away, had a few quid. Just waiting for the next job to start, really. And someone I knew who was a bit older than me came in and just talking. He was odd carrier. He said, "You looking for any work?" I said, "Well, yeah, I don't mind." Yeah. He said, "I've just got the sack from over the road." So they want an odd carrier over there. Well, I'd never carried the odd before, but you know, I knew the game. So I went over there, got the job. Spent the next 9 months behind 2 great big diesel mixers, one with red muck and one with grey muck. On this job, we built this. Yeah, and I stayed with this firm for quite a while before I got myself into college and learned bricklaying. And the subby actually lived across the road from where my parents were living, where I was staying, which was handy. It was about 1975, I think. Yeah. But this place is ruined, and it was ruined many years ago, I believe, anyway. Pedestrianisation kills places, it really does. Right, where are we going now? Oh yeah, right, we'll have a little walk. Right, I've come off the high street, and we've gone west off the high street, down Park Lane. When we went to the Black Prince, that was east of the high street, that's right the other side of town. And down here was a pub called the Plough. No, I knew it closed, but I didn't realise things had happened this quick. That was the pub. Definitely not a pub anymore. So yeah, it was a good pub, very popular with people from Waltham Cross. There's quite a big estate here, so they got plenty of use. Another one gone. Unbelievable, isn't it? Dropping down like flies, aren't they? You know, this is recently gone, obviously. Quite a lot of them are recently gone. I'm going to have to go and retrieve my vehicle from Wicks's car park and park it elsewhere. So I'll do that and then we'll carry on. Just walking back and I'm just remembering this place. Someone's going to have to help me on this one. It used to be a bank and it did become a pub. It changed names a few times as well. Was it called the Vault? I can't remember. It was alright, they used to do some jazz nights and entertainment and that in there, but I can't remember now. Yeah, it was a pub though. Gone. Not a pub anymore. Right, Wicks's. Bloody batteries going on this. Right, here we are. Not really closed, but this is the old Vine pub. There's a new pub built at the back. But yeah, that was a lively pub as well. Quite lively. It was popular with travellers in the day. It was an Allen's pub. I think this was a beer pub as well. What they call an ale pub. No spirits. Not sure. I think it was. Behind there is the new Vine. That's where I've actually parked. There's a big car park there. I think I'm safe there. I'm going to have a pint in there when we're finished anyway. Yeah, they old developers, someone bought in, they set fire to it, they burnt it, but it was saved, and the council said, you know, you've got to sort it out, and it's stayed ever since. It's been offices for a long time, but it's all up to let again now. Don't know. Right, the next pub. Right, we're heading to the borders of Waltham Cross and Cheshunt. And the next pub, which isn't here, is up here on the right, and I'll see you there. Almost forgot. Back here again, to the left here was another pub, the White Hart. Long gone, roundabout there now. It was a mate of mine's mum and dad had it for a while in the 70s. I never really drunk in there, but it was popular in the 60s with the local lads, mods. They used to congregate there. A lot of people in their 70s and that often talk about it. But yeah, I was a little bit young for that. Right, let's head this way. Over there, there's Theobald's Grove Station near the bridge, so you know where we are. It's called Temple Court for a reason. It was the Temple Bar pub, a pub I used a lot in the 70s, early 70s. It was a Whitbread pub. Most pubs around here are, well, were in them days, Iron Coop, and I'll tell you a bit more about Iron Coop later, and McMullen's from Hartford. But there was definitely two Whitbread pubs. This was a Whitbread pub, and the Plough, where we just went to, down Park Lane, was a Whitbread pub. I was drinking here, over there, with a bricklayer. He was a lot older than me. I never worked with him, but he taught me a lot. I was still on the odd when I first met him. His name was Dick. Many years later, I was driving down this way and there was a traffic jam. And I said to my missus at the time, I said, I bet old Dick's come out of the pub and fell over and been hit by a car or something. And it turned out I was right, unfortunately. He didn't die then, he passed away a few weeks later because of the accident, really, bless him. But come his funeral, his son said to me, "You come to the funeral?" I said, "Well, I am, but I'm so busy." Do you know what I mean? He said, "Don't worry about it." He said, "Just come to the pub for the wake." He said, "That's all I asked." Well, yeah, fine. And I was working up in Cuffley, building some garden walls. And I said, right, I'll put a gauge of muck in the mixer. It was about, I think, 1 o'clock the wake. I said, I'm going down to the pub, I'm going to have a pint, pay my respects and get back. Well, got down to the Temple Bar, didn't I? Met a few younger bricklayers who I knew as well. And that was it. Got on it and never did go back to the job. I'll tell you what, it was a right job cleaning that mixer out in the morning, I can tell you. But yeah, that's what you do, doesn't it, when you're young. All a bit irresponsible at times, but yeah, bless him. Right, yeah, the Temple Bar, good pub, gone. Now, I've got a feeling, it's not in my notes, but there's a pub up there, which is the last pub in Waltham Cross, called the Wheat Sheaf. But it was open the other week, and when I drove past today, just happened to have a look, it looked shut. So let's take a little handle up there, because I think that's another one was bit the dust. There you go. Unfortunately, I was correct. It's shut. And that definitely looks like it's closed down, doesn't it? Oh dear. What is going on? Nothing on the door. Tell you anything. Another one of my old locals in the day. It was a good pub. It's always handy for the football. We used to get trains here to go to see Tottenham play at Theobald's Grove. If we're going there, or Temple Bar, it was handy. Right, this is the border between Cheshunt and Waltham Cross. I'm going to carry on going because there's a lot more to do in Cheshunt in this separate video. So if I can walk, I've got a bit of time. I'll walk up and just nick a couple up here. There's 3, no 2 I can do up here. Get some out of the way. Oh dear. Blocks of flats here, I worked on them. These ones here, I've worked on them. Property jobs really, aren't they? Site work. Factory work in the cold weather, isn't it? Really. Okay, first pub in Cheshunt, the Coach and Horses. It was a good old pub. It's not closed down. It's not strictly a pub anymore. It's more of a tapas bar and that. I really need to go in there. I've not been in it. It's been like this a few years now. Yeah, I need to do it. It's just I get the because of the time I spent in Spain, you can buy tapas for nothing. Like they're like £8-9 quid each here, aren't they? But whose fault's that? I don't know. But yeah, there's the pub. Half gone. Right, it's an old motorbike shop there. So I bought my first scooter about 1970. And opposite there, and it's actually on, I'm not sure what corner it was on, I don't know. There was a pub called the Crown. Check my notes here. Yeah, the Crown. Now, that's an old house there, isn't it? So I reckon it was here, 69. That's where the Crown pub was. But it shut in 1922, so it's well gone. But yeah, another one gone. Right, where are we going now? Let's have a look. Right, we'll walk up here. Right, here we have the Roman Urn, which is still open, functioning pub. It's owned by a local builder. Has been for some time now. Yeah, a decent pub in its day. Well, still is now, I think. Now, there was a pub just past called the Golden Eagle. Now, a lot of these pubs, when I researched them, the old ones, it always says 1922. They kind of all got in 1922, so it must be something to do when some records were kept or whatever. I'm trying to see a space where it might have been. These are all from that age, aren't they? I don't know, maybe not, it's hard to tell. Yeah, I don't know, but it was here. It was in this vicinity anyway. Long gone. Right, I'm going to head back to where I was parked in Vine. Have a pint and drink with my mate up and drink with him. Yeah, Waltham Cross, what can I say? Saddens me really, because that's, you know, that's my stomping ground when I was a kid, a teenager. Just got downhill, innit? It's like everything in the whole country really. It's not just here, this ain't half as bad as some places. But yeah. I have to keep a mindset now, because I don't live in the past. You can't live in the past, can you? But I like old things and I like old times, I love history, that's why I do this. You know, architecture, I'm no expert on it, but and a bit of bricklayer, I'm interested in it. But no, I have to keep this mindset where I'm interested in things, but I don't live in the past. You know, I live for today, the future. You have to, otherwise you just get bogged down in it, don't you? But right, well, that's the video for today. The next one will be Cheshunt. I think it's going to be a bit of more pubs in Cheshunt, I think. There's a bigger, the whole route is 7 miles. So I reckon we've done about 3 a day, so There's 4 miles to do in Cheshunt, but yeah, perhaps I might even get done there this week. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, if you're a bricklayer and you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe. See you in the next video.